The camera pans across the massive crowd gathered under the night sky, fans screaming, phones raised high, waiting for that one moment. Then, there he is, Chris Martin, the Coldplay frontman, stepping onto the stage with that signature calm smile. But what happens next leaves everyone talking. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below, because what you're about to hear might just change how you see Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson's relationship forever. As the lights dim and the first notes of My Universe echo through the air, the camera catches a familiar figure in the crowd, Dakota Johnson, standing quietly near the sound booth, her eyes fixed on the man she's loved for years. Fans notice instantly. The whispers begin, and within minutes, social media explodes. Is that Dakota? Are they still together? The rumors that once claimed they had quietly split suddenly seem to crumble in real time. Chris, mid-performance, glances toward the audience, his expression softening. Then, without missing a beat, he says into the microphone, "This one's for someone very special tonight." The crowd roars, and cameras immediately turn to Dakota, smiling, blushing, clapping along. It's not just a dedication. It's a statement. For months, the entertainment world has been buzzing about whether Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson were still an item. From whispers of long-distance struggles to speculation about their low public profile, fans had begun to wonder if one of Hollywood's most private couples had quietly gone their separate ways. But tonight, that brief, emotional exchange seems to speak louder than any tabloid headline ever could. Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson have always done things differently. Unlike other celebrity couples who showcase their romance on red carpets and social media, these two built their love away from the spotlight. While Dakota continued her acting journey with projects like Madam Web and upcoming indie features, Chris stayed on the road with Coldplay, delivering powerful, emotion-filled performances across continents. But behind the scenes, those close to them insist their connection never faded. Sources have often described them as soul-aligned, two deeply artistic souls who understand each other's silence as much as their words. And tonight, as Chris's voice echoes through the stadium, that emotional energy feels almost tangible. The camera cuts again, Dakota swaying to the rhythm, mouthing every lyric, her expression soft yet proud. She's not hiding. She's there, openly supporting the man she's quietly loved for years. And as fans record every moment, TikTok and X light up with clips captioned, "Chris Martin dedicates song to Dakota Johnson, proof they're still together." But here's where things get even more interesting. Just a week before this concert, paparazzi had caught Dakota leaving a Los Angeles cafe, alone, phone in hand, expression unreadable. Tabloids immediately spun it into another breakup rumor. Yet now, seeing her there, in the heart of Coldplay's world tour, it feels clear that those headlines were, once again, nothing but noise. Chris has never been one for public declarations. He's known for weaving his feelings into melodies instead of statements. When he sings lines like, "You're my universe, and you make my world light up inside," fans can't help but wonder, was this always about Dakota? Is this the real love story hidden behind the lyrics? Midway through the concert, something unexpected happens, a pattern-interrupt moment that sends chills through the crowd. The music pauses. The lights dim to blue. Chris takes a seat at the piano and begins playing Fix You. But before starting the verse, he says softly, "When someone believes in you even when you doubt yourself, that's love." No one breathes. The camera pans back to Dakota, her hand over her heart, visibly emotional. It's raw. It's real. It's one of those fleeting, unscripted moments that remind fans why this love story stands apart. As the concert reaches its crescendo, Chris looks out once more, eyes glistening, smile wide. The final note lingers in the air, and for a brief second, he mouths the words, "Thank you, my love." The crowd may not hear it, but those watching closely, they see it. And that's all it takes. When the show ends, Dakota quietly slips backstage. Paparazzi lenses flash, but she doesn't hide. A simple wave, a soft smile, and then she disappears behind the curtain. Hours later, Coldplay's official Instagram shares a carousel of concert highlights. One photo stands out. It's not flashy or staged. Just Chris on stage, mid-song, with a faint silhouette of a woman watching from the shadows. Fans recognize her instantly. Within minutes, the comments flood in, "Chris and Dakota forever." They never broke up, they just stayed private. True love doesn't need publicity. And maybe that's the key to their magic. In an industry where relationships are often performative, Chris and Dakota have built something authentic, a love that exists quietly, far from the chaos of fame, yet strong enough to survive the noise. As fans debate online, insiders reveal that Dakota has been joining Coldplay on select tour dates whenever her filming schedule allows. She's been spotted multiple times, often unannounced, blending into the crowd, never asking for special treatment. She's proud of him, one insider says. She wants to see him doing what he loves, and he does the same for her. It's a partnership built not on constant appearances, but mutual respect and trust. And yet, beneath the beauty of it all, there's still that lingering question. What's next for them? Marriage rumors have swirled since last year, with several outlets claiming Chris has been quietly planning something special. Neither has confirmed anything, of course. But tonight's open dedication might just be the closest thing to a public promise we've seen from the couple. As the credits of the concert roll and the stadium empties, fans leave buzzing. Not just from the music, but from what they witnessed. That subtle, wordless exchange between Chris and Dakota wasn't just a moment. It was a message. So, are Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson still together? Every look, every lyric, and every quiet smile from that night seems to say yes, louder than any press statement ever could. And if one thing's clear, it's that theirs is not a love for the cameras. It's a love written in songs, lived in silence, and revealed only in fleeting, honest moments like this. Because sometimes, you don't need to shout love from the rooftops. Sometimes, you just need to sing it under the stars. If you believe in quiet love stories like Chris and Dakota's, tap that like button, share this video with a fellow Coldplay fan, and tell us in the comments, do you think their relationship is Hollywood's last real romance? Stay tuned, because if tonight's performance is any sign, this story is far from over. As the night faded and fans began sharing clips across social media, one thing became clear. The world still can't get enough of Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson's love story. Within hours, hashtags like #ChrisMartin, #DakotaJohnson, and #ColdplayLoveStory trended worldwide. People weren't just talking about the concert. They were analyzing every look, every smile, every lyric that might hint at the couple's current status. But beyond the viral moments and online frenzy, there's a deeper layer to this connection, one that's been quietly unfolding for years. Insiders close to both stars describe their bond as something unconventional yet unbreakable. Chris, known for his introspective nature and gentle humor, found in Dakota a partner who doesn't just understand his creativity, but matches it with her own calm intensity. She's not the type to chase attention, and that's exactly what makes their dynamic so fascinating. During the post-concert interviews, when a journalist subtly mentioned Dakota's presence, Chris gave one of his signature shy smiles and simply said, "She's always been my biggest supporter." That single line sent fans spiraling. Was it confirmation? A love declaration disguised as modesty? Whatever it was, it proved that despite their private nature, their affection has always been quietly visible for those who look closely. In Hollywood, where most relationships burn bright and fade fast, Chris and Dakota's love story seems to thrive in stillness. They're not constantly photographed on red carpets, nor do they post romantic captions online. Instead, their story is told through stolen glances, hidden dedications, and subtle gestures. It's the kind of romance that doesn't demand attention. It earns it. Behind the scenes, sources reveal that Dakota has been deeply involved in Chris's creative world. She's often seen giving feedback on his new songs, helping shape lyrics, or even inspiring themes in Coldplay's upcoming projects. He trusts her completely, one insider shared. She's his emotional compass, the one who helps him stay grounded when the chaos of touring or fame gets too heavy. And perhaps that's what makes this moment on stage so powerful. It wasn't just a public dedication. It was a glimpse into a partnership built on quiet strength and artistic understanding. When Chris pointed to the crowd and said, "This one's for someone very special tonight," he wasn't just performing. He was communicating something raw, intimate, and undeniably real. AS fans replayed the footage frame by frame. A new wave of speculation rose. Could this appearance be a sign of reconciliation after a rumored rough patch earlier this year? Reports had surfaced suggesting that the couple had taken some time apart due to conflicting schedules and personal priorities. But every insider who knows them insists it wasn't a breakup, it was space. Time to recharge. Time to find balance. And tonight, seeing Dakota beaming proudly from the audience, it seems that space only made their connection stronger. Dakota has often described herself as a homebody with a wild imagination, and Chris is famously known for his gentle, empathetic soul. Together, they form a balance that's rare in the entertainment industry, one filled with noise, ego, and endless distractions. While other couples crumble under the weight of fame, Chris and Dakota have built something sacred in the silence between the chaos. What's even more touching is how Chris's children, Apple and Moses, have reportedly grown close to Dakota. Sources say she's been a stabilizing presence, treating them with kindness and respect, never overstepping, always present. She fits into his world effortlessly, one friend of the singer revealed. Chris has said more than once that Dakota brings peace into his life, and that's all he's ever wanted. Then, a few days after the concert, eagle-eyed fans spotted a photo uploaded by one of Coldplay's tour photographers. It showed a candid moment backstage. Chris sitting on a couch, guitar in hand, Dakota beside him, laughing at something he said. No makeup, no lights, no posing, just two people sharing an unguarded second. That single image reignited the internet all over again. Comment sections filled with thousands of messages. They look so in love. This is the kind of relationship that feels real. Protect Chris and Dakota at all costs. And maybe that's why their story resonates so deeply. In a world addicted to spectacle, their love reminds people that true connection doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. Still, the question remains, what comes next for them? Rumors continue to swirl about an engagement. Sources close to the couple say Chris has something special planned, possibly after Coldplay wraps their current tour. Some fans believe his latest song, Moonlight Eyes, is a secret love letter to Dakota, with lyrics that mirror her presence in his life, steady, luminous, and grounding. Whether or not an engagement is on the horizon, one thing is certain: this relationship has become a symbol of quiet endurance. Chris Martin, the man who once penned heartbreak anthems like The Scientist, now seems to be living his own kind of love song, one filled with maturity, gratitude, and peace. And as for Dakota, her presence at that concert wasn't just a show of support, it was a statement of faith. Faith in love that doesn't need constant validation. Faith in connection that endures distance, rumors, and time. So, as the lights fade and the music slows, fans are left wondering, will this be the beginning of a new chapter for Chris and Dakota? Or simply another quiet, beautiful moment in their long, mysterious love story? Whatever happens next, one thing is undeniable. When Chris Martin looked into that crowd and saw Dakota Johnson, it wasn't just another night on tour. It was love, pure and unfiltered, played out on the biggest stage of all. And for a moment, the entire world got to witness it.